guys, welcome back to Strong Successful Male. So for today, I'm going to go over an email that was sent from a subscriber, and this is from a guy. He is 39 years old, and he is truly going through what is, in my opinion, the divorce from hell. Okay? This guy, the situation going on with his current wife is just one of the worst I've heard in a long time. Okay? Now, some of you guys may be thinking right off the bat, SSM, why would I sit here and listen to this gloomy story for the next 20-some minutes? Well, I'll tell you why. Number one, this guy is a brother, and he needs our help. Absolutely, this guy needs our help. He's been going through hell, and he's been losing battles, and I want to help this guy win the war. And I think I can do it, and I could definitely use your help to listen in on this thing and comment below to offer some advice for any of you guys who have been through this before. And the second reason is, once again, to reinforce what can happen if you guys in 2021 decide to get married and you end up getting a divorce, what you can go through potentially depending on where you live. It's pretty ugly. So this is a warning to many of you that think, a lot of things I talk about are just exaggerated or won't happen to you or full of crap. This is to show you what can happen so you can at least be on your guard and know what you're up against if you potentially take the plunge one day. Or at the very least, if you're going to do it no matter what, you really screen your girl as best as possible to find out everything about her and what she's like and all that before doing this. Because what this guy goes through, holy crap. It will definitely make some of you guys think twice. So I'm going to go through this here, and definitely I'm going to go through his story here, his email, and then at the end I'm going to list all these different things I think he should do to help him out on different levels of his life to get back on track and ultimately win the war. So it starts off, he says, "Hey SSM, I've been watching your channel since the beginning and wanted to share my story. I'm a horrible writer, but I wanted to get your thoughts. It's hard to describe the hell I'm going through, so let me know if you want edits or if it's good enough for an episode." Well, bro, you wrote well. This is good. No worries there. He says, "I'm 39 years old and I'm going through a divorce straight out of hell on earth. My ex, a 40-year-old female, was extremely hostile and controlling the last 3 years of our 16-year marriage." That's pretty much how it goes. It seems like before things weren't too bad, and then it's always the last few years, it's a pure nightmare. And finally, somebody can't take it anymore, and that's the end of that. He says, now listen to this. He says, "I wasn't even allowed to change the light bulbs in my house while getting screamed at and degraded for 20 minutes for doing it wrong." Yeah, that sounds like a whole lot of fun. What a sweet girl. Changing the light bulbs. You want to talk about a control freak. Obviously, she's a very miserable woman. That's a big sign, if not any, to get out. Run out that door and never look back. But obviously, he can't do that. He has kids. He says, "The 3 dogs got more attention and love from her. From her hoarding tendencies to the never-ending put-downs, she has become extremely obese and ugly both inside and out. I couldn't handle the screaming anymore." So not only is she a complete jerk, and I'm minimizing my profanity here, but also she's a big giant water buffalo. Sounds like a whole lot of fun being in this marriage, huh? But you're going to see as I get into this more, guys, this guy, he's a good guy. And he's staying in it, obviously, because he probably has old values, wants to make his marriage work in spite of she turned herself into a giant buffalo. And he obviously has kids and wants to do what's best for the kids. He says, "My work took me to Japan for 6 months, and my depression about the situation took me to new lows. I started drinking heavily to cope, and I ended up drinking several times with a few bartenders in the bars. All the bartenders loved me to death because I was a foreigner that was very fluent in the language, but I tried to keep their offers of you-know-what and companionship as platonic as possible and always turned them down." So this guy's in a miserable marriage. His wife looks like a freaking beached whale. She treats him like crap, and still he's overseas and he has opportunities to hook up with these good-looking Japanese bartenders, but he's passing up on the opportunity because he's loyal. He has every right to start having some fun overseas because he's on the other side of the world, but he doesn't do that anyway. That kind of shows you his character. He's a good guy. And this is, again, why I'm doing this story, because this good guy does not deserve what you're going to see going through. I want to help this guy out big time. He says, "Besides a little casual flirting and a few text messages, I amazingly left Japan relatively unscathed. I still value my marriage and didn't want to jeopardize my family and 2 kids and everything that I had built. This guy's old school, old-fashioned values. Unfortunately, as time has gone on in 2021 in today's world, those old-fashioned values that a lot of guys still want to have don't mean crap anymore. It's absurd. And we all know where a lot of that came from, our present situation. The F word, effinism. I'm speaking in code here because I have to. Upon returning home, I was very determined to make my family work, no matter what, especially never go back to Japan. Well, I think his water buffalo of a wife knows darn well this guy is willing to make this marriage work, and this is probably why she treats him like crap, because in her mind, he's not going anywhere. It's sad. However, now listen to this, however, she somehow found deleted photos on my phone, even though all the photos were very simple of me drinking in the bars and nothing else. She considered it cheating and kicked me out of the house for the next 11 months. So she's snooping through this guy's phone. This guy's a good guy. He's doing what he can. And on top of all the other bullshit, she's snooping through his phone. Guess what? She was looking for an excuse to get rid of him. That's what was really going on here. She's obviously miserable. And for whatever reason she's miserable, I really don't care, because she's an asshole. But she's looking for an excuse. She got it. That was it. Oh, you're cheating. Even though he didn't cheat, even though he had lots of opportunities, I'm sure at that moment he was wishing he did hook up with those cute Japanese bartenders. But things happen for a reason, in my opinion, and ultimately I think things will go good for this guy if he does things right. He continues, I wasn't allowed to see her or talk to her other than a 1-hour therapy session once per month. What, that's a bad thing? That was the best thing ever happened to you. The beast kicked you out of the house. That's great. This obviously got us nowhere, and we finally filed for divorce, despite me begging for months on end for us to work it out. Bro, I know you were in pain. I know you can't change the past, but no man should beg anyone. Anyone. No begging, okay? That is not going to make a woman want you back. That is not going to make a woman have attraction for you. It is only going to make her resent you more, because begging is acting the lowest levels of broken down emotions, okay? And I get you were confusion and pain, emotional roller coaster, and obviously it wasn't about her. It was obviously just about simply your family and your kids and all that. But you can't beg, guys. Ever. Ever, ever, ever. Now listen to this. Now we're getting into the meat and potatoes of the divorce process and why you guys should really pay attention to some of the financial elements here, so you can anticipate what you may deal with if you get married and if you get divorced in the wrong place. He says, the initial child support papers, I had to pay $800 for one child, but another $900 for spousal support. Ouch. Obviously, this is every month. Listen to this, even though my ex earns way more money than me, she makes more money than him, and he has to pay this spousal support? I'd like to know what state this guy lives in. When I've done this video, I'm going to email him letting him know I did this video, and I'm going to email him and say, hey, dude, what state do you live in? I wonder if it's like California or something. He says, even though my ex earns way more money than me, we started a call center in the Philippines, and she earns roughly 3 to 4 times what I earn in the federal government. 3 to 4 times, and this guy has to pay her spousal support? You gotta be freaking kidding me. He says, I have a good, stable job, but I had to work hard for everything that I had created. Every time I try to tell my lawyer she earns so much more than I do from the business, he simply says there is no way to prove it, so there isn't anything I can do other than spend $10,000 legal fees to get it proven. Well, then in that case, then maybe it was time to get a different lawyer. And you're going to see here as it goes on about his lawyer and the money he pays, and it's not helping the situation. Because I'm assuming this business, they have equal ownership in this business, unless it's 100% in her name. So I have to wonder about this whole situation. It doesn't elaborate on that, but I got to wonder. But then again, even if it is in her name, I'm assuming it's a corporation, S corporation or whatever. They're married, so he would obviously be a part of it. I don't know, but I got to wonder. Anyway, he says, one reason why I wanted to divorce was even though she earned so much, she spent us into oblivion. And I could never keep up no matter how hard I worked. So she's making a lot of money, and obviously this guy does all right, I suppose. But that's all going right out the door. How many times have I talked about in videos, guys, that by and large, most women are not good to absolutely horrible with money. Women are what most of the times, women are more likely to spend than guys do. Guys don't need the big giant, most guys, let me rephrase that, most guys do not need the big giant house. A lot of times it's the woman that wants the big giant house. Remember, it's all about status with women, competing with the Joneses, competing with the girls, okay? Big giant house, success, status. Sending the kids to the most expensive private schools, status. Being a member of a certain country club, status. The fancy car that's probably leased, status. Clothes, vacations to show on Facebook, fancy cars to show on Facebook, social media. You get the point here. Guys don't need all this stuff. Men don't need a whole lot to be happy, but we do need our freedom. We do need our respect for ourselves and from other people. And this is why it's not as hard as people think for guys to start over, which I'm going to talk about more at the end of the video. By her spending the money into oblivion, I'm not at all surprised. He says, and she didn't care. She sent my third grader to an exclusive private school that's over $1,000 a month. What I tell you about the private schools? Something I could clearly never afford. I didn't realize, but in the child support papers, she requested me to pay for the tuition. So in total, all the child support costs are like 70% of my entire monthly pay. She's something. This guy's a good guy, and you can obviously see as he started his story, he wasn't cheating on her when he could in Japan. He's doing what he can for the family, and she was looking for any excuse to end it. And now she's hitting this guy against the wall. I'd like to know, in her view, psychotic view, what this guy did so bad that he deserves this type of treatment. This is a load of crap. I also want to know about this lawyer, because all this is happening, and she makes way more money than he does. Anyhow, he continues, not only that, but right before I originally went to Japan, I invested heavily into the call center business with my own loans, roughly $50,000 in all. This investment would be able to grow the company into $1 million business, and I was excited for us and to propel us into early retirement. Now I'm simply stuck with the principles and balances that eat away at my original remaining income. It took me 2 years of never-ending travel to work to finally get these paid off. So this guy recently invested money into this business. So once again, I want to know, why isn't this guy getting part of this business or something like that? I question this lawyer he hired. She asked for full custody. Oh, okay. So on top of all this other shit, now she wants full custody of the kids? She asked for full custody, and since I couldn't afford the house anymore or a place to live at the time, I had no choice but to give her full custody. See, guys? See what I'm talking about here? Divorce from hell. I'm finally getting stable enough after 2 years to try and support the kids and get 50-50 custody. So obviously he's been going through this whole divorce process for 2 years. 2 years of this drama. But I'm only now learning that I have to pay a lawyer $10,000 of legal paperwork just to try and get 50-50, something I cannot afford at all. This is a shame. When we split, she asked for $50,000 equity loan from the house, and I agreed because she was entitled to her portion of the equity. Oh yeah? Well, how about you being entitled to the equity or the ownership of that business that she makes 3 to 4 times the amount of money as you do? I agreed because blah, 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 the equity. However, 2 weeks later, she said she changed her mind and wanted to sell the house instead. Red flags. So I agreed. Little did I know, she processed the equity loan and received the $50K. In the end, I literally got 30% of the equity in the home. She sold all the possessions I worked so hard for and took 70% of the equity without ever paying a single mortgage payment our entire marriage. Unbelievable. What about the money from the call center? Why was this guy paying the mortgage every month? And what about her money from the call center? What was she paying? Or was she just blowing away on bullshit? My lawyer has told me several times to just settle and lose everything and just start over. Yeah, great lawyer. I get a lawyer obviously looking at the situation and letting you know and being direct, saying, okay, dude, unfortunately with the laws of this state, you're screwed. But I'm not quite buying all this here. By the time I go to trial in October, lawyer's fees will take any equity I'm trying to get. I know I'm just a middle-income earner, but I just can't believe she can easily get away with everything. Welcome to family courts in 2021. I'm going to have to drop my lawyer soon because he literally just earned $8,000 from me just by answering a few emails and attending an hour-long settlement conference. He could care less about the case. It's only about money and business. Well, unfortunately, bro, I think that's what it sounds like it is. I know a lot of lawyers, and a lot of them are good, and I've heard plenty of stories about ones that are just, they will just drag things out as long as possible to keep getting the money. Dragging it out. You know, a lot of these lawyers, because that's how they make their living. Perhaps I should, in another life, I should have become a divorce attorney because, let's be honest, there's a never-ending supply of business. I know it sounds sleazy, but shit. Imagine, over 60% get divorced in this country. There's never-ending supply of business. Shit, divorce attorneys should be going to weddings and handing out their cards because they know they're going to get a phone call in a few years. Anyway, yeah, it may be time to drop the lawyer and find somebody else. Not only have I lost my 2 kids I love dearly and a wife I used to love, I lost my house and most of the equity, my financial successful business, my condo in Manila, and 80% of my paycheck for the next 5 years. She turned both kids against me, even though 1 week in a month visitations are a total joke. So, to adding insult to injury, now she's turning the kids against this guy. Ugh. My friend, hang in there. You're going to get through this. I know midway that I'm almost the end of the story here, but you'll get through this, bro. And you will win the war. I want to help you. And karma will come back to bite her fat ass in the ass one day. I want that to happen. He says, she literally took fatherhood away from me. I literally lost everything for doing literally nothing wrong. All because of a psycho woman and the modern day divorce laws in America. At the rate this is going, I literally have no hope for the trial to go any better than it has already been going. She has been purposely dragging the divorce on forever, too, so I can't move on with my life. As of right now, I'm with a super cute girl who is incredibly nice and extremely sexy. An ex-dancer, who gets hit on every single day by multiple guys. I'm definitely taking it slow and looking for the red flags. Well, I'm going to come back to this whole you dating a former dancer in a moment. Because I don't think that's a very good idea where you are right now. He finishes up saying, I only learned about the Crimson Capsule, gotta speak in code here, YouTube doesn't like the other term, until after we filed for divorce, but it validates everything I've been thinking at the time. Women have zero incentive to stay married, let alone work on a marriage. They literally get everything in a divorce, and the laws will never change. It only is going to get worse. The lawyers and judges in our society are all for more of this insanity. So that is the end of this email from the guy, and man, that sucks. I feel bad for this guy. This guy is a good guy. He's going through all this. But here's the deal. Like I said in the beginning, she's been winning battle after battle, but that does not mean that you can't win the war in the end. And the way you win a war in this situation is A, you survive, and B, you come out on top happy and successful. Success is the best revenge. So let me go into some things I think you need to do right now. I mean right now when you're done watching this video to help your situation out. So get your pen and paper and write this shit down. Number 1. For all this time, you have been focusing on being the good dad, the good husband, putting everybody else's needs ahead of yours. That shit stops today. You need to put yourself first. Even though it goes against all your values and morals and all that, you got to start taking care of you. You cannot be the great dad and role model to your children if you are worn down by all this. And I get you being worn down by all this. So, you got to start thinking about you right now. You're 39 years old. You're no spring chicken, but you're not an old man either. You're younger than me, dude. You're 4 years younger than me. You can turn your life around. All right, and I want this for you. So the first thing I think you should do, aside from, like I said, start focusing on you, is if you haven't done so already, I want you to join a gym. I want you to join a gym since obviously you don't have a whole lot of money to your name right now. Join a cheap gym, like a chain like Planet Fitness, for instance. They're everywhere nowadays. $10 a month, and you can use their gym. And 24/7 most of the gyms, okay? I want you to do that, and I want you getting there at least 3 days a week. 30 minutes, 40 minutes, an hour, whatever you can spare. Get on the treadmill, the bike, the elliptical. Get your body moving. You will feel better. I promise you. Then start hitting some weights after a while. If you've never done it before and you need to learn how to do this stuff, a lot of those, even Planet Fitnesses, they have some people that are familiar with the equipment. Learn from them. You start doing this 3, 4, 5 days a week, I promise you, no matter how bad things are, when you walk in the door, when you walk out, you will feel better. by moving and exercising. Trust me on this. I cannot stress this enough. And of course, you need to be healthy, okay? Because you're not getting any younger, okay? Join a gym, start exercising, you will feel better. And when you start feeling better, you'll be in a much more resourceful state of mind, and the problems won't seem as horrible otherwise. Because staying at home and just laying in your bed and drinking your blues away, it's not going to help your situation. Okay, that's the first thing. Join a gym. You will feel better. You got to start feeling better. Number 2, I want you to take a look at your budget. I want you to look at it and say, okay, I got this amount of money after taxes coming in. These are the expenses, all the shit I got to pay for the spousal support and the child support and all that. Here's what I have left, and here are all my monthly expenses. And I want you to find a way to cut corners any way you can to save money. If that means literally you have to cook every single meal, you cook every single meal. If you don't know how to cook meals, learn from people that know how to cook. Family, friends, YouTube, whatever. You can learn anything on YouTube. And go to the grocery stores, you get the best deals in, buy in bulk, whatever you got to do to save every penny, because you need money. You need money to survive and you need money to put away. Okay, so you can start it, because I want you to turn around your life. I want your life to be great, okay, better than it's ever been, and it can be. So look at your budget, find anywhere you can cut money, okay? Number 3, what I want you to do is I want you to seriously consider transferring from working for the government to the private sector. You may have a good situation with your job now in terms of benefits. I don't know if your kids are reliant on the healthcare and things like that. Obviously, typically government jobs, they may have lower pay, but they have better benefits, okay? Look at the situation. If you can find a job in the private sector that you can make more money and it's a better deal, really consider that, because you need money. All right? You said you travel for business, working for the government. You speak Japanese. Shit, not a lot of people speak Japanese. So that is a definite skill that a lot of companies would be looking for companies that do business in Asia. Consider that. At the time, keep working for your government job. Don't go quit your job and then look for another job in the private sector. Keep working there, but in your spare time, keep looking. And if you say, I can't do that, or whatever, no, yes, you can. You need money, bro. This could be a golden opportunity for a new change in your life, and you may enjoy the change of scene. Look in the private sector, talk to some people, go to some interviews. You got nothing to lose, okay? And if you can bring a lot more money, it'll make your life a lot easier, okay? Consider that. Also, if you stay with the government job, for whatever reason you got to do that, consider side income. On the weekend, being an Uber driver. The country's opening up again, so consider if you can do that, okay? I know maybe on the weekends you would want to rather be chilling, but right now you need money, okay? So oftentimes Friday and Saturday nights are very busy. If you live not too far from a major airport, people are always looking for a ride to the airport. That's easy money, okay? Uber driving, make extra money, bring it in. All right, start stockpiling. You look at your budget and save wherever you can, and start bringing in money wherever you can, because you need the money. All right. Another thing is, I want you to remember to take this one day at a time. You're going through hell. Every day, every hour is an accomplishment to get through it. Okay. Put a chart on your refrigerator, and you get a big star next to the day that you survived. Take it one day at a time. You will get through this. Another thing is, really embrace your close family members and friends and loved ones. They will help you get through this one day at a time. With your kids, I'm not a parent, so I don't know what this is like, okay? But I can have empathy and say just to try to do the best you can with what you have for the kids. If you're only seeing them like 1 week in a month, and obviously she's turning them against you, you got to stay strong for them in that regard. But you still have to put your needs first. You got to focus on you and rebuilding, okay? And the second to the last one is, with regards to the girl you're dating right now who's an ex-dancer, bro, I'm sure that being with her is a nice break from what you're going through. I'm sure it's a distraction, and I'm sure it doesn't hurt that she's obviously good-looking, has a good body, and the hooking up's fun, but that's going to cost you money. You need money, and you don't need to go spending on her, and spending money costs spending time with her, okay? So I'd highly recommend you cut her loose for a while, and you focus 100% on you. And if she's actually a good person that you think she is, she'll understand. And in actuality, that'll probably cause her attraction to go for you even more if you're willing to cut her loose when dudes are hitting on her all the time. But right now, you got to work on you, okay? And remember, I'm not to sound like a jerk, but ladies that were in that line of work, their job is to suck money from guys. No pun intended. So be aware of that, okay? But, she may be cool, but understand this. You need to save money. So looking potentially for a better job, trying to get a side job on the side, Uber driver, a lot of people do that, whatever, to bring in money. And I want you to save and grow and all that. And then after a few years, because you said this shit's going to go on for 5 years, then you can start having some money. And once the 5 years is done of paying this stuff, you can move on. Okay, but you're 39. Your life is not over. I know it feels like it's over, but it's not over. Also, with regards to the lawyer, I'd really consider firing this lawyer and looking for somebody else, because this guy hasn't done you anything. Honestly, you know, I mean, I'm not an attorney, and I'm going to ask guys. And by the way, any guys watching this that are lawyers, I want to hear your 2 cents. Help this guy out. Let him know what you think in this situation. And last but not least, after all this shit is over and done with, never get married again. I'm sure I have to tell you that, but seriously, down the road, you might start thinking twice if you meet a girl that seems all great and wonderful, but remember how you probably thought that your ex-wife was all great and wonderful in the beginning too. Just be aware of it. But bro, you can get through this one day at a time, okay? Do these things on this list. You need money, okay? And again, you may not want to give up your weekends to Uber or whatever the hell you may do to bring in money. You may not want to change jobs to the private sector and bring in more money, but you need it, okay? The more money you have, the more you can relax, because obviously if 80% of your after-tax income is going to the spousal support and the child support, all this other bullshit, you need it, bro, okay? And do everything you can, obviously with the custody and the kids, and take it one day at a time. But you can get there. You can do it. One day at a time, bro. All right? Do not give up. So, anyhow, that is it for today. Be sure to comment down below, guys. Let me know what you think about this. Guys, any of you guys have been through this before? A hellish divorce, or any of you lawyers watching this and have any suggestions or tips for this guy, please comment below. He will read these. I guarantee he's going to read every comment, so help this guy out. He definitely can use it. He's a brother. If I can help this guy out, it's turning things in the right direction, guys, because this shit's gone on far too long to good men out there. And be sure to like the video, share with your friends, and subscribe. And I'll catch you next time.